That's what I say. Yay! Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We're so glad you're here with us on this beautiful October morning. And we'd like you to join us on a sing-along song called Let's Get Together. Here we go.
Love is but a song we sing, and is the way we die. You can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Know that love is on the wing, and you may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. It's time to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go. We will surely pass. When the one that left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, time to love one another right now.
perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. Light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by a sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As practitioner Fred lights the last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here this morning. Please join me in a prayer, affirmative prayer. Way to center your consciousness. Know that we are blessed, we are holy, we are sacred. In this divine universe, all is perfect, all is whole, and all is complete, and we are part of that divine specialness. We are the children of God. We are the messengers of truth. We are the givers of love. We are the one, connected to the one. That I am one with God. And today we make a conscious choice to be the best that we can be, to listen with new ears. Let our hearts open. Love. Because my friends, love is the only answer. It's always been the answer. Every religion has said so. Love changes the world. I release this now to the universe. I know that it is true. Release it. And so it is. And so it is. And it's also time for Dr. King to read the affirmation.
Good morning. It's such a joy to be here. I feel the love. Can you feel the love? So I'm going to I give myself fully to love, knowing that Spirit is always loving me, protecting me, and guiding me to greater things. So, fully to life, knowing that Spirit is always loving me, protecting me, and guiding me to greater things. So it is.
Thank you so much. And now please welcome the Jules Tone Choir and our guest pianist, Jules Vogel.
things try to fill me up. So many things try to weigh me down. Filling my heart now until you stay. And change the all things
Filling me up, come a loving spirit. Filling me up now and take control. Filling me up, come spirit, come. Filling me up, come spirit. Now my heart is an open door. Here your spirit is welcome, Lord. Filling my heart now and let it grow. And change my life so more and more. You come, fill me up, come a loving spirit. Filling me up to the top of my soul. Filling me up, come a loving spirit. Filling me up now and take control. Spirit, filling me up now and take control. Filling my heart, spirit, filling me up, filling me up, filling me up, oh spirit, fill me up, oh spirit.
All right, another hand for the Jewel Tones Choir. And our soloists were Rick Dale, Chelsea Van, and Wade Woldridge in that tune. Yes. And now please welcome Reverend Patty and Reverend Judy.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. So good to be here this morning, especially talking about my favorite topic. It's not that, it's intimacy. And how we get to join together and be one with each other and recognize and know our connections. And that's the yumminess of life for me. And one of the greatest ways we get to do that is we get to know each other in greater ways. So we have invited someone to come up and share with you a little bit of their story, because that's how we get to know each other, is by knowing our stories. So please welcome Harry Macy.
Hello, there it is. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good to see you. Reverend Judy and Reverend Patty called me during the week and asked if I would stand up and just say a couple words. As long as it's only a couple. I'm not going to stand up here and talk all day to you. But what they asked me to share with you was just my thoughts of how becoming a member of the center has changed my life. That was pretty easy to do. I look back, it's been almost 5 years that I've been coming here. When I first came in the doors, what got me was this great band playing the music. So it inspired me to come back and listen. And as I listened more and more over the subsequent weeks when I started coming to the center, the claims of faith, just talking to the people, realizing that there was another way to look at life, another way to look at myself. I started attending some classes. That's where you get to spend time discussing these ideas with other like-minded people. And I just realized how much I come to love this center, love the people that I've got to know. As I look out, I just see so many people that I know come to be my friends. And, the important thing to me is I think my life is better. I know my life is better. I look at the unity that we discussed, all practice here, oneness, changed my perspective on the whole world, how I encounter life in general. I just love it. So, thank you all for making my life.
For some people, that might have been really scary. For some people, that might be really simple to stand up and share who we are. And so thank you, Harry. I don't know if it was easy or hard for you. Very easy. Sometimes it's hard to share who we are. Okay, sometimes it's hard to share who I am. Sometimes I just want to appear like I have it all together. And mostly I do when I remember that it's God, that's spirit, that it's the infinite and divine intelligence in me and through me and as me. But I use the word purposefully, but there's this human component to life. And it's not to be denied. It's not to be set aside. It's to be recognized and known. And so I just appreciate that what we're talking about today is letting ourselves be known in a greater way. And not that we're going to share all of our deep, dark secrets, but we're not going to be afraid of letting them be known, letting ourselves be known. So we are safe in God's presence, true? Do you agree? Do you agree? That in the presence of the divine, we're completely safe to be ourselves, to share it all, to lay it all out. There's going to be no judgment. There's going to be nothing. I really believe that. So here's my question. Is God safe in our presence? Well, sure. God as Karen is safe in my presence, and God as Fred is safe in my presence, and each of you as the divine are safe in my presence. And even sometimes I remember that I'm safe in my own presence, because sometimes we forget that who we are is this beautiful creative energy of love, of wholeness, of perfection. And we get caught up, well, I do. I get caught up in those things that make me forget, that allow me to hide, and to hold back. And you know how much energy it takes to hold back? It actually takes more energy to frown than it does to smile. And it takes a lot of energy to hold back the light that we are, the truth that we are, the wholeness that we are. That if you're like me, there are times when it happens and we find ourselves being kind of really careful about how much we're showing and about how much we're letting people see and about how much we're allowing ourselves to be part of who and what we are. And it's our humanness that connects us. Have you noticed in the world today, it's actually the humanness that's connecting us. It's people that are sharing their story and we're connecting with it. And it's us reaching out in our humanity and supporting each other and loving each other and giving blood and doing the things that we do and praying together that connects us. And why is it that can be challenging to do? I don't know. I don't have that answer for you. I only have it for me. I only know that as I can reflect back on my life, I can look at times where I showed myself and it wasn't met very well. Ever happened? I'll cry for all of us. You don't have to. But it does, it happens. So I can remember being 8 or 9, and I was at a family event. And this personality is really my personality. It's been my personality. And I was going around to family members, and I was sharing my love, and I don't even remember, I've blocked it. I was saying something to each one, and one of my relatives looked at me, she just, what are you doing? What? That is so weird. I know, right? How horrible. But at that moment, I said, oh, I shouldn't I shouldn't. So a little bit of me gets set aside, hidden away. And I don't really think about that a whole lot. It doesn't live in my day-to-day. But I experience it. I experience it in my relationships. I experience it in how much I let people see me. And I am here to say no more. It's not okay with me that one person in their experience could shut me down. It's not okay with me that would be the way I would continue. Why? Because now I know differently. Now I know that who I am is a divine idea, that who I am is perfect, whole, and complete, that who I am is worth sharing with the world, even when it's not a happy story, even when I'm having a rough time, even when I need help, for goodness sake. It's our humanity that connects us. And we all go about it in different ways. We all have our ways, and some are strategies. And some of our strategies work really well for us, and some of them don't work really well. And so, we have these things, these relationships that happen, and these things that happen, and we find ourselves in these moments of connection, of wholeness. So here's a happier story. I think it's a happier story. So much older in my life, doing really great work, doing things that I really love, and this person says, "Why did you do that? Why did you do that? That was so wrong. That was just so wrong." And I would, "Oh," and I said, "Oh," and all of the fear and all of the upset and all of that stuff was coming back. And I took a deep breath and I said, maybe we don't know each other. Maybe we could come to know each other. Maybe we could just spend time together in deep and meaningful ways and get to know each other. And do you know we did? And we do. And we love each other from this place of wholeness and perfection and love. And it's just beautiful. So this person is safe in my presence. I'm safe in their presence. And together we can let ourselves be known. And so always when I'm thinking about my relationships, I'm thinking about how safe are you in my presence? And how safe am I in your presence? Because I'm seeing the divine. Not always. But it is my goal. It is my intention. It is our humanity that connects us. Have I shared with you this group about Ubuntu? Are you familiar with what Ubuntu is? Well, I'm going to share with you just a little bit. Ubuntu. In certain regions of South Africa, when someone does something wrong, he is taken to the center of the village, not stoned, and surrounded by his tribe for 2 days while they speak of all the good he has done. Okay, so if I just pause there and I go, when I do something wrong, if I could spend 2 minutes just reminding myself of my good instead of how I, really messed it up, it would be different. They believe each person is good, yet sometimes we make mistakes, which is really a cry for help. They unite in this ritual to encourage the person to reconnect with his true nature. The belief is that unity and affirmations have more power to change behavior than shame and punishment. This is known as Ubuntu, humanity towards others. And the literal translation of Ubuntu is humanness. And so many times we're trying to get away from our humanness. We're trying to hide our humanness. We're trying to say, oh, not the human thing. I'm God. I am love. I am whole. I am perfect. And I am. But it doesn't mean I'm not human. And it isn't that I'm supposed to forget my humanness. It's that in my humanness, I give expression to the divine. In my humanness, I can let my love show. You know, Ernest Holmes was a very prolific person who wrote a lot and spoke a lot and gave us such wisdom. Look on my notes because I bookmarked the wrong place. But it's okay, I have it written down. We should think of God not only as principle, forever pushing forward into expression, but as infinite person. Ooh, Ernest said that. In other words, if we merely think of an abstract principle and a mathematical law of cause and effect, we shall lose all warmth and color. We should be very careful in abstracting the principle not to forget the essence. There is something in the human mind that desires to think of God or spirit as person. Anything which has been in the human mind since time began, anything we are unable to release from the human mind as a deep urge arises out of reality. To me, that means our person, the personality. Let us not forget that there is inherent necessity for warmth and color. The universe is more than an inexorable law of cause and effect. Personality cannot emerge from a principle which does not contain the inherent possibility of personality. I know it's a lot of words, but here. In each of us, to each one of us, through each one of us, something is personalized, and that which is personalized is personal. Spiritual evolution should make the infinite not more distant, but more intimate. It's in our connection with each other that we become closer to the infinite. This is our perfect pathway, how we relate with each other, how we relate with ourselves, how we connect. And you know, sometimes it is just this little thing that you can do. We just share a little love. Have we not been seeing it a lot lately? People sharing love in lots of different ways. Here, and Ellen, can I give you some love? Will you pass it along? Ricky, will you take a little love and pass it on?
I sure will.
Wade, will you take a little love and pass it on?
My pleasure.
I'm not done. Pass it on.
So you're all going to take a little love and pass it on.
However-
Handshake, high five, hugs, whatever. The rest of your community here. And we're going to sing Take a Little Love, Pass It On. And I think we have some words to follow along. Here we go. So sing and hug and high five, whatever you want to do. A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3, and
Take a little love and pass it on. Take a little love and pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it if you take a little love and pass it on.
joy.
Take a little joy and pass it on. Take a little joy and pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it if you take a little joy and pass it on.
Love again.
Take a little love and pass it on. Take a little love and pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it. If you take a little love and pass it
We're
on.
going to do peace next.
Take a little piece and pass it on. Take a little piece and pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it. If you take a little piece and pass it on.
Back to love one more time.
Take a little love and pass it on. Take a little love and pass it on. And before you know it, the world will start to show it. If you take a little love and pass it on.
Let's tag that.
Take a little love and pass it on.
Yeah, give yourselves a hand. Cool, you guys.
Well, I love you.
We love you.
We have still some love going on back there.
All right, you guys, quit loving and
It's hard.
start
it's hard
listening.
to put the curtain on love.
I love that song because it really does express what we're here to do on this planet at this time, each one of us, and that is to connect with each other, with love and with joy. The song goes on to say, and before you know it, the world will begin to show it when we take a little love to pass it on. Well, I have a perfect example for that. How love heals. So many years ago, I used to raise Rhodesian Ridgebacks dogs, and so many years ago, I had one, my beloved, named Cinnamon. And Cinnamon and I were a tight group together. And my daughter went back to New York for part of her college education. And when she came back after the semester, she brought home with her a little pound dog. And she took the train to Rhode Island and got this little dog, brought it home. I was not happy. And then, of course, after she was home for the summer, then she went back to USC and left the dog with me. And so there I was with my Cinnamon and this dog who she named York. It wasn't a York. It was just a pound dog and about 30 pounds. And there I was with these two dogs. Well, I was indifferent to York. Indifferent. I loved Cinnamon and indifferent to York. And years went on. I mean, I took care of him. I fed him. You know, he was there. But that was about it. So I think in about year 2000, my Cinnamon died. And I'd had her for 11 years. And she passed away. And there I was with York. And we did not have a good relationship. Just to tell you how good it was, one night I went in after working all day, a long, long day. I went in, got in bed, and laid my head down on my pillow, and York had peed all over it, just to show me how angry that dog was because I was not giving that dog any love. And I thought, this has got to stop. So I was taking practitioner classes at the time, way back then, and I thought, love heals all. Really? So I decided I'd do an experiment, and I started loving this dog. And York was very standoffish. He had a big fear of the intimacy, was not vulnerable, didn't want to be vulnerable, didn't know what was I doing. Anyway, it's this crazy woman, she's been mean to me all these years, Anyway, I started loving. After about 2 weeks, I would call and he would come. He would get on my lap. He would sit next to me on the couch. Excuse me. We slept together. And he became one of the dearest, sweetest animals I've ever had. And it was love that healed that relationship. It was him being vulnerable to what I had to give, finally opening himself up to that. And that's what it was. So love does heal all. So the topic is the fear of intimacy. And I have to tell you that I thought, I know we're really open and diverse, but this is a little personal, isn't it? And I thought, well, maybe it's a joke on you, Judy, since you've lived alone for the last 25 years. Talk about that, Oh, yeah. Then I realized it wasn't about that. It was about safe in God's presence. Safe in God's presence. So our ability to be intimate is our ability to be real and our ability to be transparent. And like Dr. Holmes says, to be open at the top. And what does that mean? That just means to be open up to let all the good that the universe has for you, to let it come in. So intimacy with all life would mean to us that we are free. We are free to be ourselves. And how great would that be not to be afraid to be yourself? No facades, no masks, no pretending. Great. So it's really about our connection with spirit, with God, with divine energy, and how we connected we are to this loving essence. So intimacy is authenticity, and it's our awakening to the truth of who we truly are. When we rise above the fear of intimacy, we see that love always, always, always takes its place. Dr. Holmes says in the textbook on page 155, the universe is a spiritual system. Its laws are those of intelligence. We approach it through the mind, which enables us to know, will, and act it out. Prayer, faith, and belief are closely related to mental attitudes. What we think about, we bring about. Our thoughts create things. So what are your thoughts today? What are you creating in your life? Is it beautiful and fulfilling or something else? You're doing it. You're creating it yourself. So often we avoid intimacy with the divine as well as avoiding intimacy with each other, with that person sitting next to you. And we avoid it out of fear of ridicule, as Reverend Patty was talking about, being shut down, being rejected. Out of fear of that, we stop ourselves, and we don't let that person that we are, that light that is within us, shine. So what joy and what good are you missing out in today by not opening yourself up, by removing that fear and letting love in? And before I share the next quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes, I want to say something about the thing itself. Now, 30 years ago, when I read the textbook and Dr. Holmes calls God, spirit, energy, the thing itself, I was going, wow, how personal is that? Not too personal. It doesn't sound very personal to me. It was hard for me to connect with it. Look at that clown, it. Ooh, no, but the thing itself. So a lot of people, put that energy onto a sage or a teacher, or like Mother Mary, Jesus Christ, the Buddha. So they have an object to put that love on and have that relationship with, and that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we call God Mother, Father, God, Great Spirit, beloved energy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that each and every one of you, that you are a sacred activity of this presence. That's the important thing. So you can call it the thing itself. It doesn't matter. So in the Science of Mind book on page 141, it says, the power behind all things is without limit. Wow, no limits? I love that. But in working for us, it must work through us. Realizing then that while the power is limitless, it must become operative through our own thought. And then we shall see what we need is not some greater power, but a greater consciousness, a deeper realization of life, a more sublime concept of beingness, a more intimate concept of a already indwelling God. And Reverend Patty said it, who is personal to us by virtue of being personified through us. The more we express that divinity, the more it is personal to us. The most important thing, most important intimacy that we can have is our intimacy with Spirit. When we deeply understand and accept that we have never, ever, ever been separated from the source, then we are free to enjoy our human relationships at a much deeper level and more completely with less fear and less doubt. Jalaluddin Rumi, the 13th century Sufi poet, one of my favorites. I've been reading his poetry for years and years and years, and especially love his love poems. He calls God the friend in many of his poems. So I'm going to read to you my favorite one. And this is God speaking to you. God, Great Spirit, whatever you want to call this thing itself, is speaking to you. I am your lover. Come to my side. I will open your gate of love. Come settle with me. Let us be neighbors to the stars. You have been hiding so long, endlessly drifting in the sea of my love. Even so, you have always been connected to me. Concealed, revealed, in the unknown, in the unmanifest. I am life itself. You have been a prisoner in a little tiny pond. I am the ocean and its turbulent flood. Come merge with me. Leave this world of ignorance. Be with me. I will open the gate to your love. It's all God, and it's all good. Thank you.
So we're going to have a prayer. Diane will set us up.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. If you know it, please feel free to sing with me. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. That last line. That we rest in God and say amen.
Blessed, truly blessed. One life, one power, one source, one creator, one love. That love that is divine, that is the thing itself, that is unnameable, is made known through its self-awareness, through its love of itself. through the action and activity of revealing itself. And so, made in the image and likeness of the divine, each one of us is here to know that connection, to experience it, to express it, to know ourselves and reveal ourselves, to love ourselves, to bring ourselves into existence, into expression, in love, in joy, in beauty, in peace, in our relationships, in the activity of our life. And so I know for each one of us that there is a freedom to let our light shine, to give and receive love, to know ourselves and reveal ourselves in joy, with courage, recognizing and knowing that we are safe, safe in the presence of God, safe in the presence of the divine with each other. There is a sacred and holy thing going on, and it is life, knowing itself and revealing itself. And so I'm grateful to stand in the truth of knowing, of giving, of revealing, and making welcome. For I truly know I am safe in God's presence, and God is safe in mine. Thank you for all this good that continues to be revealed. I cast this word forth. I know it is done. I simply accept it as so. I let it be and know it with me. And so it is.
Thank you
Amen.
so much, Reverend Pat and Reverend Judy both. Just beautiful. I'd like to welcome back our Jewel Tone Choir now for another song.
And as you sail along life's that love will guide you round each bend. God's love is flowing like a river. That springs eternally. Oh, well, that springs eternally. If you should drift along life's journey, God's love will like an anchor be. His cup is overflowing with love for you. Drink from the gentle waters, fill your mind too. God's love is flowing like a river. God's love is flowing like a river. A gentle stream that knows no end. A gentle stream that knows no end. If you should drift along your journey, His love will bring you home again.
gentlemen are staying up for offertory. So we need Patty or Judy.
Children. Oh, okay. I need that for a second. Thank you. I've only been here 30 years. I'll figure it out. I don't need this. Where? I'm in my head somewhere. It's time for our offering. Will the stewards please come forward? We have a vision statement that will appear on the screen, and we have been saying this for the past couple of months, and we continue to say it because we know that if we take our vision out there, it comes back to us because what we think about, we bring about. So please say it with me. Surrounded by our beautiful natural garden, our new spiritual home feels sacred, joyful, peaceful, welcoming, spacious, and airy, with plenty of room for individual expression and community growth. Yes, feels good. We're not outlining this prayer. We're being open at the top. So as we take our gift in our hand, we can feel its energy. We can feel its love. We know that it is a gift that we give with love. So please repeat after me. My offering is love. It's given with love. And I love to give. And so it is.
All right, we've got the men of the jewel tones. Aren't they pretty? Gonna do a little rain down.
Rain down, rain down, rain down your love on your people. Rain down, rain down, rain down your love, God of life. Faithful and true is the word of our God. All of God's blessings are gifts of his love. God's mercy flows from the sweet rain of spring. Full of God's love is the earth. Rain down, rain down, rain down your love on your people. Rain down, rain down, rain down your love, God of life. We who are blessed and find strength in our God, live in the kindness and joy of God's heart. God will protect us from darkness and grief. God's Spirit bless us all. Rain down, rain down, rain down your love on your people. Rain down, rain down, rain down your love, God of life. God of creation, we find light in you. You are the water of life that we thirst. We grant that your love and your peace touch our hearts. All of our faith lies in you. Don't you know? Rain down, rain down, rain down your love on your people. Everybody, rain down, rain down, rain down your love, God of light. Rain down, rain down, rain down your love, God of light.
And we're gonna get those kidlets in here. This is the light. 2, 1, 2, 3, and this.